Hey everyone, Robert Ferringo with Doc Sports here with your 2020 Miami Dolphins NFL Las Vegas season win total picks and predictions video. Be sure to check me out at www.docsports.com. So today we're talking Miami Dolphins. But if you want to know how I feel about the Dolphins, if you've already watched my New York Jets Las Vegas season win total video, just transfer basically everything I said about the Jets over to the Dolphins. They're both in pretty much the same spot, and the Cliff Notes version is they are both definitely improved teams. They both had solid off seasons addressing issues that their rosters have had. They will be better in 2020 than they were in 2019. However, neither one of them are going to win more games this year. That improvement that they've made in the offseason will not show up in the standings. We'll get to why in a minute. Last year, Miami started 0-7, but then they actually came on late in the season. They won 5 of their last 9 games, and they have really, since that point, carried that momentum into the offseason to the point where they have really accelerated what is generally a 2 or 3 year rebuilding process. They've done it in less than 12 months. Let's run down the list. They found their coach in Brian Flores. Now, I was not a fan of the signing when they got him from New England, just based on the track record of failure from former Belichick assistant coaches. They located their potential franchise quarterback. I'm not a big Tua Vigliola, however the hell you say it. I'm not a big fan of Tua's, but he was their guy. He was the one that they had identified, and they were able to get him in the draft. So that's important. He can learn for a year under Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then they have their quarterback moving forward. Miami was also very aggressive in free agency, which I liked. They signed a lot of solid players. They didn't splurge. They didn't overspend. They signed some solid players to bolster their roster. But more importantly, the Dolphins had what seemed like 27 draft picks this year, and they used most of them. I thought that they would maybe trade for future draft picks or package some of them to trade up, but they didn't. By signing all those free agents, those rookies don't have to start for them this year. Tua is the perfect example. They still have Ryan Fitzpatrick. He doesn't have that pressure of coming in and being the guy from day one. So I think that Miami has a really nice balance of kind of proven professionals on their rosters now. They've improved the talent level considerably from the team that they had last year, while also building for the future with a solid core of high draft picks. So I like the way that they have built this thing. I like the way that they have really gone warp speed through this rebuilding period. However, they won 5 games last year. They're not going to win 5 games this year, and the reason is very, very simple, the schedule. The schedule is simply too difficult. Last year, Miami had one of the most favorable schedules. We'll say, I don't like to say easy, especially for a team that made it look as difficult as they did. They had one of the most favorable schedules in the NFL last year. That's not the case this year. This year they have to cross over with the AFC and the NFC West, 2 of the best and deepest divisions in football. Last year, I think Miami finished the season having played the 3rd easiest schedule in football, 3rd most favorable. Okay. This year they're slated to have the 4th most difficult schedule heading into the season. They're simply not up for it. And I mentioned that depth that they were able to create through free agency. The problem is that if they have any injuries at any of the key positions, the guys that are backing them up are going to be 1st or 2nd year players. You don't want to have a team that's starting 4 or 5 rookies come week 6. And that could be the situation that the Dolphins find themselves in. So I like the direction that Miami is going. I think they've had a tremendous offseason. I think they're finally pointed in the right directions after really 20 years of being an irrelevant NFL franchise. However, all of that improvement is not going to show up in the standings. They were lucky to win 5 games last year, and that they won in overtime against Cincinnati in Week 16 in a game where both teams were kind of tanking to get that overall number 1 draft pick. They won that game to get to 4 wins, and then they won Week 17 against New England in a game where the Patriots rested all their starters. So that 5-11 last year was actually a little bit misleading for Miami. I see them right around 4 wins, maybe 5 wins again this season, which again will not be an improvement in the standings, but it doesn't really reflect how much better this team is than last year's team. So take the Miami Dolphins under 6 wins this year in the NFL. Carpe diem and good luck.